Hello, I'd like to quickly introduce you to RAID Tool, the innovative software that allows you to communicate with the CalDigit VR. Let's go ahead and launch RAID Tool here. You'll see the program will launch and it'll automatically scan your bus for connected CalDigit VRs. We only have one CalDigit VR connected to this computer at the time. If there's multiple, they'd show up here. You get basic information about the CalDigit VR that's connected to your computer here as well. The nickname, serial number, firmware, system temperature, RAID type, status, capacity, and the bus it's connected with. Let's go ahead and click on this CalDigit VR and get some more information. Just take a second to load that information here. Alright. First tab that we're going to see is RAID information. We'll see the current RAID that's set on the CalDigit VR, and then individual information about each disk, the model name, serial number, status, volume size. The next tab we'll look at is RAID configuration. This is how we'd configure the RAID. We can do RAID 0, 1, and spanning here. If we wanted to set RAID 1, we'd follow the steps. When you do create a new RAID, it does erase all data, so we're not going to go ahead and do that at the moment. Next up is email notification. This is a great way to keep an eye on the CalDigit VR. If you're worried about any events that may happen, a fan failure or anything, this will allow you to put in your email information, and the CalDigit VR will send you an email out with the event log in any such event. So very convenient there, and you can even send a test email out to make sure you've got your settings in there correctly. You may need to talk to your system admin to get all of these settings, but they're just standard email settings that you should be able to use. Next tab is the fan and temperature tab. Right now you can see the fan is actually not running. It's in standby mode. The temperature is cool enough it actually doesn't need to run, which is one of the nice features of the CalDigit VR there. But you can check on the temperature and everything here in the fan and temperature mode. Next tab is the event log tab. This is where you'd find your event log, and any event that occurs is logged here. As you can see, the drives are plugged in, so we're good to go. Next tab is a firmware update. CalDigit VR does support firmware updates, which is a really nice feature because it can get new features added to it, as well as bug fixes and all that. So if there's a firmware update that you do get, you can go to this tab to upload it. The miscellaneous configuration tab is one of the funnest tabs here, and one of the really powerful things about RAID Tool. Let's walk through some of these things here. The LCD RAID config enable disable feature here allows you to either turn on or turn off the ability to set the RAID from the LCD screen in the front. If you're in a public place and a lot of people are going to be working with a CalDigit VR, you may want to disable this feature so people can't accidentally press the buttons. I mean, you have to go through a confirmation 3 times before you can change the RAID level, but you don't want maybe a student or someone to mess around and delete that data. You may want to disable that. Otherwise, if you want to be able to set everything up through the LCD screen on the front, you can keep it enabled. The beeper is similar to the email notification. If there is an event, if the beeper is enabled, it will give you an audible alert, so you know to check and look at the LCD screen and see what's going on. The VR nickname is a really neat feature. It allows us to customize our CalDigit VR, so we can give it a nickname, and the nickname that you give it is actually displayed on the front LCD of the CalDigit VR. You can get up to 16 characters in here, and it's really convenient, especially if you have a lot of CalDigit VRs that you have connected to your workstation, and you can easily identify them this way. Turbo mode is a great feature for video editors. Say you need to squeeze every last ounce of speed out of the CalDigit VR, you can enable turbo mode, and basically all it's going to do is disable some of the diagnostic features to give you an extra turbo boost and get that extra speed of the CalDigit VR. And then the new password feature allows you to password protect RAID Tool, so no one can use it without knowing the password. And the last tab here is just the scan the bus. Say you add another CalDigit VR and you want to scan for it there, it'll go ahead and scan and find that for you. I'll go back and click and load this information again and talk about the last button that there is here in RAID Tool, and that is the online update button. So if we want to check for the most recent version of the CalDigit VR, we'll go ahead and click on that. RAID Tool version checker, new version is available, so we know we're up to date. And then the last thing we'll talk about here is the RAID tool preferences. There's a few things in here that we can do. We can have it scan for a single array or for multiple arrays. So if you have multiple CalDigit VRs connected, you'd want to select multiple. And then also the refresh rate is how often CalDigit's RAID tool communicates with the CalDigit VR. Could do 30 seconds as the minimum here, but you can also change this to 30 minutes, 30 hours, how often you want that data to be updated. It's not something you probably generally have to deal with, but those are nice features you have there if you need to do that. So that's the CalDigit RAID tool. It works with the CalDigit VR. We hope you enjoyed.